All right, cool. Well, I think Caitlin and I just really wanted to start doing monthly Zooms with our teams together. I guess just to like build that community, and I think it's always fun to learn from, from other coaches, and, what am I trying to do? Run ideas off one another. Mm-hmm. And today we wanted to talk about the vital behaviors. I was going through kind of my notes when I was prepping for this, and I found something from another Zoom. I think it was with my upline coach, Steph Davies. And she basically said, you cannot wonder why your business isn't where it should be if you're not doing the vital behaviors every day. And I thought that was just really powerful. Her and I had talked about, like, there was a time when she and I, quite honestly, like, weren't even drinking Shakeology every day. And it's like, if I can't even take 5 freaking minutes to make a shake, like, how can I expect other people to want to invest in that? And it wasn't because I didn't like them or anything. I was just being lazy. But I know life gets in the way. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was being a product of the product. Recently I did the Ultimate Reset, which I guess Caitlin knows, Brittany might, but the Ultimate Reset really taught me a lot about myself. And I was having so many conversations with new people, which hadn't happened in a while. Like, my business had been really stagnant. All of a sudden I was really committed to a program, and I had like a lot to share because I was committed to the program. I was learning a lot about nutrition, so that kind of opened up my brand a little bit for me. I had never really known much about nutrition, and I'm obviously not a pro, but doing the Ultimate Reset taught me a lot about that. And of course I had results to share. If you ever look at like top coaches, like Amy Silverman is a perfect example, and really Stephanie too, but she posts results all the time, and they're not always like brand new results. But she's resharing results. She's sharing results of her challengers, of her coaches. And sometimes she does like more mental health kind of transformations than physical ones. And I think that that's really important and can grow your business. There was recently a wake up call. I don't know, maybe it was like a month ago, 2 months ago, with Raina Odell. I don't know if any of you caught that one, but it was all about being a product of the product, and how she started with the Ultimate Reset and then always had a plan. So like when she finished the Ultimate Reset, she went into, I want to say, the 21-day fix. And then I think she did Hammer and Chisel and so on and so forth. So she always had a plan for when the next program ended. She would be jumping right into something else. And her results are amazing. She was she's definitely top 10. I want to say she was maybe even in the top 5 for the past few years. And even she, fell off her game a little bit, and she gained a lot of weight, and she was having a lot of medical issues, but she was able to commit and get back on. And that's when she started to see her business boom yet again. I was going to say too, I feel like I'm kind of rambling, but even if you don't have like a major transformation, I think that comes up a lot. Like, well, I haven't lost a lot of weight or this or that. I think that you can definitely still be a product of the product. And I think Caitlin is a perfect example of that. Obviously, she's hugely pregnant and still sharing her videos every day and sharing that she's drinking Shakeology and eating balanced and that sort of thing. And then another example, I think, is if you follow Lindsay Tipton, Namaste in Shape, she's always been pretty small, but she shares a different transformation, right? Like, she still has some physical transformations, but it's more of like a mental and just like overall healthy lifestyle transformation. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say about being a product of the product.
Do you want me to dig into personal development?
Yes.
Okay. So I was really excited to do personal development. Only I feel like that's a lot of being product of the product, in terms of how that helps your business. And kind of, I think, for when I first started as a coach, everything kind of boomed like in the first 6 months. Oh yay, somebody else is getting on. I wonder who it is. It's like a surprise. Anyway.
Might be Chelsea. I don't know what's going on.
Okay. Anyway, for the first 6 months, my business like really boomed and took off because it was like new and exciting, and I was doing all the vital behaviors. Like, I took it so seriously, with the coach basics and what was expected of me as a coach. And I treated it like a job because I wanted to get out of the situation that I was in. And so then when we were able to like buy our house and I quit my job and doing all of those type of things, I kind of coasted, and I got in this like place of just feeling comfortable, and I wasn't even working out every single day, or like Brittany said, like drinking Shakeology, which is crazy. It wasn't that I didn't like doing those things. It just, I was being lazy too, and things were comfortable and I didn't feel like the urgency anymore. But more importantly, I stopped doing personal development. And which, looking back now, it's crazy. If I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm not the only one. I go back and I look at my own Facebook posts from like the years prior, or like lately I've been, now that I'm 30, almost 38 weeks pregnant, I look back to when I was this pregnant with Nash and how I did things and just where was I at mentally and stuff. And it's so obvious to me now, the times I was doing personal development and the times that I wasn't. And now it's like I take personal development so much more seriously than I even take my workouts or anything else first. Because, and that was even on the wake up call this morning a little bit, just saying like, you have to like feed your mind the right stuff in order for that to roll over and have a successful workout, and what you eat that day and how you help your team and how you attract people, like-minded people. And so I guess, and it used to be something as simple like when I was still working, I would, find YouTube videos and I'd plug it in my car and listen on my drive there. Like, or now that I have, sorry, I'm so winded because I'm so pregnant. um, Gosh, I like get Braxton Hicks contractions and suddenly I'm like, can't breathe. Anyway, now it's like, I listen to things in the shower. It's sometimes finding, I think I also kind of got out of a personal development because I read You Are a Badass and I fell in love with it, and I read Compound Effect and I fell in love with it, and then it was just really hard for me to keep finding these authors or speakers that really connected with me. And I've just kind of come to terms that I just need somebody that's like a little abrasive and in your face and like can kind of insult you but tell you how it is type of thing, and like keep me listening. And so that's where I'm like such a fan of Tony Robbins, or like Earl Thomas or Les Brown, or a lot of those speakers. And so sometimes it's just as simple as like, I used to also use time as an excuse. Like my kids go crazy. I can't read a book. I'm constantly getting interrupted. So it's like, even if you just pop something in while you're taking a shower, it was something that I noticed a lot. And with Stephanie Davies, and then just with a lot of top coaches, and like going back through their webinars and through their trainings, and I'm like, okay, what is the common occurrence here with all of these top coaches? And all of it is like they eat, breathe, and sleep personal development. Like they're constantly feeding their minds with good stuff, and you have to, because there are so many times when you're going to get the nose, or right now when it's like the slower season or whatever, like you have to have that good fuel to keep you going and pushing through. And if ever there's a time, I even like tell Derek this all the time, I'm like, if there's a time where I wake up and I'm just like, I don't really know what to do today. I don't really know. Should I go post on my team page? Should I help? I feel scatterbrained. Like I just take a time out and I do my personal development for like 10, 15 minutes. And it's like suddenly I just have direction and I have notes, and I'm like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. And this is a good idea for my team. And this is how I can help them. And maybe this is how I can help my challengers better. And then things are just like coming in waves. It's almost hard to describe until you start doing that consistently. And for like a year of my business, I wasn't doing that at all. And I don't think it's a coincidence that same year that I wasn't doing personal development is the same year I went from a 2-star diamond coach to an emerald coach. And when I lost half the team and when my income dropped and all of that drops, and it wasn't until I started picking up personal development again every single day that now my rank's back at 1-star diamond, and I gained, the coaches back that I had lost. And that's when my income doubled and everything got better, because like everything was starting with my mind and just filling it with good stuff, just like we work out every other muscle when we do our workouts and post those transformations. And like Brittany was saying with the mental transformations, I think that was a huge one, because I went through a lot of depression and anxiety and all that kind of stuff, especially after having my second baby, and be able to talk about how the business itself encourages me to do these things, to work on myself. And like, that's my job, where before I had a job and they didn't care if I worked on myself. They just wanted me to show up on time and get a paycheck or do what I'm told or whatever. So I feel like it just gives us a lot more to post from. It gives us a lot of value to this business for ourselves and able to share that with others. So I think that's why it's so important. And I feel like if anybody does it even like 10 minutes a day, every single day for a week, and then like reports back in 7 days and say like, I don't notice a difference or I don't feel any different, like it's impossible and it's worth it. So,
oh my gosh, we should do that in our team pages.
what?
We should do that in our team pages to make everyone check in with their personal development.
Yeah.
But encourage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I think, yeah, when Caitlin and I were deciding who was going to talk about what, we both were kind of like laughing. I was like, well, personal development, obviously you should do, because she knows that is an area that I really struggle with. And every time we do our weekly Zooms, I'll be like, I'll have something negative to say. And Caitlin will be like, no, I was reading this in my personal development. And we're both in each other's team pages, and she's always posting so much inspirational stuff. And it's because she has stuff to say because you're doing your personal development. Yeah. So, okay. So I'm going to talk about inviting. So the next vital behavior is invite. And I think this one both seems like obvious and is also like really challenging, because I think none of us became Beachbody coaches because we wanted to be salespeople. Like that, no one wants to be, well, maybe some people want to be a salesperson, but I don't want to be a salesperson. Like I worked at Nordstrom for a long time and it was literally the worst times of my life. So, yeah. But there's, ways to invite without being creepy. So first I wanted to recommend, for those of you that haven't read it, and I honestly haven't read it all the way through, but it's a really good book to kind of like pick and choose from, but Jab, Right Hook. What is that? Gary Vaynerchuk that wrote that one. And it's all like, each chapter is broken into like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So that's why I haven't read it all, because I don't use Twitter. But it's like, broken down, and it teaches you how to invite people without being creeps. So basically I wanted to kind of talk about like a call to action and a soft call to action. Some people call them other things, but that's what I know them as. So, a call to action would be like maybe posting your transformation photo and saying, in 1 week I'm running this challenge group and I'm looking for 10 chicks to join me, and you know what I mean? Like you're in someone's face and you're asking them to join you. And I think people do an okay job of this. Maybe they're not doing them frequently enough, but I think the soft call to actions are really valuable and a place that we sometimes lose customers. Because I honestly have been really critiquing I'm pulling up my Instagram right now. I've been really critiquing it lately, because I have been really getting interested in nutrition and stuff. And I'm finding like that I'm posting like a lot of cool pictures of like meals, but I'm not like asking anyone to do anything. Like, you never want someone to be able to look at your Instagram or Facebook or whatever and like not actually know you're doing something, and like this is your job. So I would challenge everyone to kind of critique their Instagram or Facebook or whatever your social media of choice is, to see if you're really inviting, if people know that this is a job. I kind of already mentioned this when we were talking about being a product of the product, but posting a lot of transformations. Like top coaches are constantly posting transformations. Like I said, they can be physical, they can be mental. They're posting their challengers transformations, their coaches transformations. I mean, Teal Alive and Well has, well over 2,000 people in it that are constantly posting transformations, and most people say it's okay to use them. So there was a time, I think Chelsea and I talked about this a while back, where I was trying to challenge myself to post like 3 a week, and I've kind of fallen off of that. So I'd like to get back on and just posting those a lot, especially with the new year coming, like because people want, they're about to be ready for their New Year's resolutions. Also, something that I used to be really bad at, but got good at and I'm trying to get better at again, is making lists. Like in my phone, I have notes. I'm sure we all have notes in our phone. And I have like a challenge pack one. And I just list everyone on there that has talked to me about challenge packs. And then once they buy one, I delete them. But I have people on there from like months ago that still haven't bought, so that I can remember that, oh yeah, when I first became a coach, I didn't think I needed lists. I was like, oh, I can just remember everyone in my head. But eventually as your business grows, it becomes literally impossible. So making lists and reminding who showed interest, even if it was just a message and then they never responded to your response, keeping track of that. And then lastly, I wanted to touch on warm market. I recognize that not everyone has the same warm market when they start out. But a lot of us do, and a lot of us are scared to reach out to our warm market. So I've shared this a lot, but my first coach was my boyfriend's mom. She didn't actually want to be a coach, but she wanted to help me, and she had already been drinking Shakeology. I stole her from Stephanie, but I don't think Stephanie minded. And she was my first, discount coach. And then my second coach was my best friend. And I was like really a psycho when I first became a coach. Like I was like hitting people up. Like one of my coaches, I literally messaged her and I was like, oh, I saw you're doing Insanity. Why are you not a coach? And she was like, I don't know what that is. And I was like, well, you should be doing it with me. You know what I mean? And I was kind of creepy, but there's certain people, that you can do that with. And certain people, obviously you don't want to be that like annoying person that blasts people. But I think really honing in on that warm market. And I recognize not all of us, our families want to help. Like my mom, I've been a coach for like a year and a half. My mom just bought a challenge pack. Oh, it was at Summit. I was flying back from Summit and I was in the airport and I wasn't going to hit Success Club. And I like begged my mom to finally buy a challenge pack. So yeah, sometimes you got to keep those people for precious times that you really need it. But yeah, so, I mean, that's pretty much what I wanted to say about inviting. Really looking at your social media and seeing if you're asking people to join you. You don't want to overdo it and overkill, but people need to know that you're actually doing something they can do with you. And I think that's a really cool part about coaching. Obviously, like we have our challenge groups, we have community. Like if I were to walk into a gym right now, even after a year and a half of working out, I would not know what to do. Like I would be mortified. I would be so embarrassed. I would have to have a friend with me. So yeah, I don't know, Caitlin, do you have anything to add about inviting?
No, I think that was really good. And I feel like that kind of ties into being a product of the product. And like you said, and letting people know that it's not only something that you're just like doing, but it's something that people are allowed to do with you. And that's something that I'm like, that's a good point. I'm posting my workout videos a lot, but I haven't yet said, it's always a good place to, mention a upcoming challenge group or, whatever else. So like doing little soft calls. So I agree, because for the longest time I would never invite, because I thought inviting meant cold messaging random people, and I was like, I am just not about that. Like I don't want to be that person. I've gotten those messages from other people before, and so I wouldn't do it. But it was more, I've learned it's just having conversations with people. Like those people that you make friends with and you like their photos back and forth and they're liking yours, but you don't really know them for like months and months and months. It's just like throwing a message out there finally, not anything about business related or anything, just like, oh my gosh, I saw, you guys just went to wherever. I've always wanted to go there. How was it? Like, is it something I can take kids to? Like just starting a conversation and like keeping those flowing to kind of like form a relationship.
And I think also like recognizing that it really takes time. Like it probably wasn't until a good year into my business that I started having like real, like legit strangers messaging me on Instagram. Like maybe it would be not like a warm market person, someone that I went to high school with and haven't talked to in 10 years, but like just in probably a year of coaching that I start to get like complete random strangers from like across the country messaging me. And so it just takes a lot of time, and because it takes courage for people to message you, to like read your call to action and be like, hey, I want to do something. Yeah. So that consistency is important.
Super. Okay. Do you want me to go under recognition?
Sure.
Okay. So this one, because this is the newest vital behavior, isn't it? The three. The recognition. Obviously, you guys see on Thursdays when we like recognize coaches for rank advancements and Success Club and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like there's a little bit more into it. And it's something that I think like it doesn't get showed enough, which is another value, and kind of how Brittany touched on is like the community that we have to offer. And sometimes that's what people need. I've had a coach sign up strictly because she just saw the people I was talking to on Facebook and who I was doing business with and who I was doing these Zooms with and stuff like that, and just kind of sharing the community and the environment and the team and what actually all comes with it. It's not something where you sign up to be a coach and then you're like completely on your own trying to figure out how to run a business that you've never done before. And, kind of like Business for me really also boomed after I went to the retreat that Stephanie had when we were all at Hood River, because people saw, they're like, what is this girl doing? Like, I thought she was just like some kind of weird like network marketer, but here she is like working out with all these girls in this house at Hood River, and they're like being healthy, and it's stuff that I know I can do. And I've never seen her try to push supplements or like anything weird like that or anything, and just like seeing the true relationships. And I think especially too, I think that's where a lot of like stay-at-home moms come in, is like, it's isolating and it can be lonely and it's all those things. And I think a lot of times when they see that it's something where you feel like you have connections with people, it kind of, that helps out a lot. So obviously, so recognition is good on Thursdays, on the days when people are hitting major milestones, and it's something that should be celebrated. I know my business really took off when I got announced as Emerald. I went Emerald again the next day, simply because people saw that it really was a real thing, and I was progressing and doing something. I wasn't just smoke and mirrors or whatever. And so when people saw that, but other than that, I think also recognition is just huge with everything, and just kind of cheering people on and continuing on. So like, even if it's volume, or even if it's, like shouting out another coach on their amazing transformation, and getting that love and support and stuff on the comments, making sure you go in on the team pages on Thursday and, congratulating everyone that is doing well. Also, gosh, what was I going to say? Totally forgot all of a sudden. But so I don't know, does that make sense at all? Do you get where I'm going?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I was gonna add too, I think recognizing your challengers. Like, I think Chelsea, I think, was it you that posted in our group the other day about like getting people to recognize each other in the challenge group?
Yeah,
I thought that was a really good one. And then one of our challengers, like Autumn Calabrese, liked her transformation post, so I posted in the challenge group, and maybe I'll do a public one too, so that people see. I knew Stephanie before she was a coach, but I remember she had this challenger who I am friends with on Facebook, because we were in these challenge groups together, and her name was Amy, and she had like the most insane transformation. I think she's a discount coach now, but she just mostly was in it for the community. And I remember Stephanie posting her transformation all the time. And I feel like Stephanie would probably say that really boomed her business, because she was showing that she actually is helping people like change their lives, And so I think recognizing challengers, so that obviously they feel good for, it's hard to make those changes. But then also it's going to help your business as well. I guess that kind of goes back to sharing your transformations all the time, but
especially for like upcoming challenge groups.
Mm-hmm.
So people like, oh, maybe I do want to join this. This isn't just something. This, like, Brittany, you did another, not you, Brittany, but my Brittany down there, did a, what was it? Like, it was almost like a new coach announcement, but you did it for a challenge.
Oh, for my challenger, when she bought the challenge pack.
Yeah, because then you did it in a team page, so all of us could like cheer her on and stuff, and I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know how she ended up like feeling, if that like kind of like gave her like and it gives them that like accountability, instead with so many challengers sometimes where it's like they get their challenge pack and I'm like, awesome, we're gonna do this, and like we get them going, and then they just drop off the face of the earth. So
and can you hear me? I don't know about like you guys, but like I have a lot of challengers that will get like, they'll pick their Shakeology and I'll send them an email, and then they just drop off the face of the planet and never go through with the purchase.
Yeah.
And so I noticed that like really like gets them to, oh, well, she publicly announced that I'm doing this thing, and so they follow through with it, and it gives them that little confidence boost to keep going with it.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, people tend to not have a lot of follow through sometimes, but I have found, Caitlin, you've been a coach a lot longer than me, but I have found that a lot of times people come around like in their own time. There's been so many times where, not that I like forgot about people, but where it's like, okay, they told me to reach out to them in April, and I did, and they said, okay, no, now do it in June, and I did, and then it kind of comes to a point where it's like, okay, I don't want to be like annoying, I don't want to be bothersome, but then times I'll find eventually those people come back and they're like, okay, I'm ready, and then they really are ready. I think about my own journey. Like I was a challenger, but I was a very half-assed challenger for a long time. And if Stephanie, I think, had hounded me about coaching, I don't know if I would have found.
Well, and then I think that's where the consistency comes into play. Because those people that are like, next month, the next month, the next month. Well, if you fall off track too, and you're no longer posting like about workouts or challenge groups or whatever else, it's out of their head. But when we're like consistently just showing up every day, not like specifically to show them, but just in general, like, I don't know, that got them like, okay, fine. Your last post got to me. I really need to do this, and like, so.
Yeah, and you really never know who's watching. Like, I just got my favorite. So I have a website, and on my website, I have like a info, like, or contact me, like, link or whatever. And I just got my favorite message. It was from my boyfriend's friend's mom. And what did it say? I have to find it. It was so cute. And I've never talked to her about this at all. God damn it. Now I can't find it. It was so cute. Oh, here it is. The subject line is just, hi, message, I'm curious. That's all it was. But you know what I mean? I would never think to like message I don't know. I would never think to like reach out to her. So, we've been friends on Facebook for a long time. So obviously, she saw some posts that really caught her eye and she wanted to know more.
Yeah. That's cute.
Are there any, I know we kind of flew through this and we started a little bit late, and I also get really nervous and sweaty before these. But I hope that this was helpful. And I don't know if anyone has any questions or like things they're struggling with. We have 7 minutes left because I don't have a upgraded Zoom account.
Do you have any questions? Anything? Yeah, you're like totally rocking and doing good with your stuff. So.
Oh, that's sweet.
We'll see what's going on.
Well, Brittany, do you do a lot with Instagram?
Do I do? I mean, I feel like I mostly run my business off Instagram.
Do you really? Because I notice for me, like, all I get is interaction with other businesses. It's a personal account, but like I don't ever have any real people like even liking anything. So I don't know how to.
What are your hashtags?
I don't know. They're all on Facebook too. Like I try to do it like that, include ones that aren't related to fitness at all, like Mama Mini and Weekend Vibes, things that like aren't totally unrelated to Facebook, but it's still to fitness, but it still feels like I'm only getting random businesses,
So I definitely get random weird followers. Like I get a lot of them. But I also like switch up my hashtags a lot, and I use them for like different, like I have different section. I have all my hashtags saved, and I have like different ones, like parenting hashtags, depending on if like a business for my daughter, transformation hashtags, personal development hashtags and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then also like, I haven't been doing this as much lately because I have been getting more traction on my Instagram for some reason, but like I would go through and look at like the, how it shows you like people you might be interested in or whatever they call it. Like videos you might like, pictures you might like. I go through there. A lot of them are transformations because I obviously like a lot of those, but I go through there and I just try to find people that I look like I would want to be friends with, and then I'll follow them, and then like I'll be active on their Instagrams, and if they don't follow me back within like a week, I'll unfollow them.
Okay.
And there's a what's it called? I think it's just called Followers. Yeah, it's an app called Followers, and it will show you who unfollows you and who doesn't follow you back. You have to have a little bit of thick skin because there's been people that have unfollowed me that I'm like, seriously? Really?
Really?
But it helps me. I don't really look at that a lot, but I try to see who I'm following that isn't following me back. And then if I've been really active on them for a while, I eventually will just
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that was my only question, I think.
What about you, Chelsea?
I don't know. I'm just having a hard time figuring out what to post, just in general.
I feel like you post a lot of good stuff. Posting your videos, or you were for a while anyway.
Yeah, but I feel like it's getting old. Like I need something else.
Are you doing personal development?
I've been slacking.
Well, there we go. I mean, really, that's what a lot of we've been talking about. And I have been really struggling with my social media. And maybe you and I can talk like one-on-one, like a little bit about that. But yeah, I've been going through kind of a phase in it. But I think you missed the first part of the Zoom. We were talking about being or maybe it was when Caitlin and I were talking before anyone got on. We were talking about being a product of the like when you're really like committed to a program and to all the vital behaviors, you have so much to like post about. Like I was saying, I was so committed to the ultimate reset, and I would say I'm like 80% committed to, maybe not even 80, that might be pushing it, like 70% committed to Four to Force, and I just feel like I don't have a lot to post about. And you know that my work is like crazy. Like I work in a jail. There's like not a lot of like exciting things that can be, and I can't really have my phone. So,
Wow.
yeah, I just look at other coaches a lot and to see like what they're posting, or I'll like just go scroll back through coaches that inspire me, like Amy Silverman or something, and see like an old post she did and see how I can make it my own. And I don't know, it's a hard time of year.
Yeah.
And that's where I think too, like I stalk Stephanie a lot right now. I'm like, okay, when she was this pregnant with Cheyenne, like what was she sharing about? Like how, and just seeing how she was like, there are little things I do throughout the day that I'm like, I don't even think anybody would find interesting, or it's not anything share worthy or has any value to it. But then I'll see how Stephanie would took like the same situation and like made it this big, like, I'm so happy I get to be here for this, or whatever, any like little random thing, or like doing comparisons of her previous pregnancies and stuff like that. And so I think too, just finding coaches that might be in like the same exact like frame or like program or whatever, or even just this time of year, and seeing what other coaches and how they're working it, like that helps out so much.
And I don't think you should underestimate the videos. Like maybe you might be bored of them, but I'm really bad at them. My lighting in my apartment is absolutely like horrifying. So it's like really hard to take videos. But I remember Steph, I think it was when she was pregnant, she started doing like a lot of workout videos, and she was saying she was getting like more coaches than anything. I think just we live in that day and age where like photos are fine, but people don't really want to stop and like read. And like live videos, obviously, which I'm like not really good at on Facebook, but I don't know. I think people really like videos. Like I was just looking at Lindsay Tipton just posted a yoga video, and it already has like over 1,500 views, which she also has like a lot of followers. But I just think that people like want to see like what people are doing.
What are you guys planning for January? You posted something the other day.
Yeah, so we have less than a minute, so I'm sorry if we get cut off, and I'll post about it in the team page. I'll post it in both our team pages.
Okay.
But we have, so yeah, January 2nd, we're gonna do a 21-day fix specific group. I think if there's people in there that aren't doing it, it's not the end of the world, but we'd really like to focus on that because Caitlin will have had her baby and she can't work out, but she's gonna focus on like the meal stuff. And so that's January 2nd. And before that, so last year I did a like set your intentions group. It was like a free group leading up to New Year's, and it was all about setting your intentions for the year. And it was like one of the most successful free groups I've ever done. It was just really fun. It wasn't fitness related necessarily, like it could be if that was people's goals for the year. So that's going to be 12/26 to 12/30, a 5-day. And I just shared that template with Caitlin. And then also in January, I think we're going to do a what is coaching. Instead of doing a live event, we're going to do a small, like a private group. Because Stephanie just did one I was in, and it looked like it was pretty successful. So I'm just curious to kind of go back to doing the groups versus the events and see how it goes. Yeah. And I think it'll be good. Like we'll have a week between the day after Christmas and the new group starting. And it's really the 26th of December that things start to pick off because people are like, okay, I'm done being in my slump now. And, you know, people maybe get money or get hands or whatever for Christmas. So, yeah.
Especially the intentions, like